Hello, kindergarten, first grade. So this is the last time that I'm going to take you through so that you don't have to click on the next button, but next week you're going to have to do that. I will have a tutorial to show you so you remember how to do that. The words are right here, but there's also a little sound circle that will read the words to you. So step 1 says watch the introductionary video. That's this one, and we're going to listen to that right now. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to week 18 in marking period 3. Marking period 2 is now closed. Week 16 through 20 will be open until February 24th for submissions. I won't be locking these until February 24th. That way, it's a little bit easier for everybody to just go in and submit. Bada boom, bada bang. Then we will close them and I will not reopen them. However, you'll still be able to submit using the envelope in Schoology after February 24th for weeks 16 through 20. All right, now take a breath. I know you are super excited to get into those art bags, but we're going to wait until week 20. I know. Because not all of my classes have gotten their distribution bags. So it's not exactly fair to say, oh, you guys can use all the stuff, but not everybody has it. So we're going to hold off. I know the anticipation is breathtaking, but we can do it. Today, we're going to learn about some photographers in our Meet the Artist room. I know we did a little bit of photography last week, and I also know that I asked you to do some worm's eye view pictures, which were super hard to do on a Chromebook. I wasn't thinking about flipping the camera and got all bamboozled, and I made some of you lose your minds. I am so sorry about that. But I am impressed with those of you who actually got some worm's eye view pictures. And for those of you who didn't, I love the pictures you guys sent me. All I need for last week, if you didn't do it, is just to send me a picture. I just want to see if you're able to, if you're able to get that video that Ms. Shostak made for us to get the camera working. Now that we're done watching the video, we're going to hit next. The next screen takes us here, and now we're going to click on the Gordon Parks book because that's the story that we are going to read. If you want to come back when you're finished this assignment and look at any of these books, it will be available to you. But we're going to watch or read the Gordon Parks book. Gordon Parks, How the Photographer Captured Black and White America. Parks' photography gave a powerful and memorable face to racism in America. This book gives him to the young readers. Kirkus Review's Starred Review. Author, Carol Boston Weatherford, illustrated by Jamie Christoph. Gordon Parks, How the Photographer Captured Black and White America. An Albert Whitman and Company. Published, Chicago, Illinois. The youngest of 15, Parks arrives, stillborn, and is nearly left for dead until a dip in ice water shocks his tiny heart to beat. The baby is named for the man who saved his life, Dr. Gordon. When young Gordon crossed the prairie on horseback, nothing seems beyond reach. But his white teacher tells her all-black class, "Y'all wind up, porters and waiters." What did she know? After Gordon loses his mother at age 15, he moves in with his sister in Minnesota. Soon, on his own, Gordon works odd jobs: busboy, piano player, and finally, porter and waiter. 25 years old, and all but broke when a magazine spread about migrant farm workers inspires him to buy a used camera. That $7.50 is the best money he will ever spend. In 1 month, he teaches himself enough for an exhibit at a camera store. Soon, he is shooting fashion and portraits. One model tells him to take his camera to the big city. In Chicago, Gordon's shots of struggling families on the South Side win him a chance to be a government photographer. He leaves the Midwest and turns his camera on Washington. Gordon wonders, "What should I shoot?" "Search for a subject," says the boss. In the nation's capital, he passes the White House and the Supreme Court. In the shadow of the Capitol, he sees black families living in alley dwellings. He can see the blacks have it harder than the whites. He passes statues, monuments, and memorials to mighty heroes. But there are enough photos of white men carved in marble and granite. He glimpses white-only signs in shop windows and learns firsthand that even if there is no sign, it doesn't mean that a black man will be served. And the sign says, "Capitol Restaurant, whites only." Boiling mad, Park vows to lay bare racism with his lens. He shares his vision with his boss, who points him toward his subject. Talk to her. She knows struggle. She is Ella Watson, a cleaning lady in the building where Parks works. She supports her grandchildren on just over $1,000 a year. The photographer follows her for weeks, home, church, and to work at 4 in the afternoon. After a long day, she studies the Bible with her family. Gordon takes pictures of her children or grandchildren too, dressing, eating, reading, playing, not yet knowing the racism that they will surely face. Over his long career, Gordon's photos will run in Vogue and Life magazines, their first black photographer. He will write novels, make movies, compose music and poetry, and be hailed a Renaissance man. But Gordon's most famous shot will be American Gothic. In the newspaper, the photo exposed to the nation the unfairness of segregation. Standing before the flag of freedom, cleaning lady Ella Watson holds the tools of her trade and the hopes of her grandchildren. She knows all too well that the opportunities the flag symbolizes are denied her because of her skin color. Yet she dares to dream of and strive for better. Though through Gordon's lens, her struggle gained a voice. You don't have to hear her story to know her prayer. Gordon Parks was one of the most important photographers of the 20th century. Through art, photography, music, literature, and film, he pursued what he called the common search for a better life and a better world. Born on November 30th, 1912 in Fort Scott, Kansas, Parks was the youngest of 15 children. His father, Andrew, was a tenant farmer, and his mother, Sarah, died when he was 15. He then moved to St. Paul, Minnesota, where he lived with his sister for a short time and attended high school until he was forced to quit. He held various odd jobs, including that of a singer and a piano player. While working as a railroad porter, he was so moved by a magazine photo spread about migrant workers that he bought a camera at a pawn shop. Although self-taught, he soon became a portrait and fashion photographer and landed an exhibition at an Eastman Kodak store. Marva Lewis, a model and the wife of boxing champion Joe Louis, suggested that Parks move to a big city to further his career. He chose Chicago. A photo essay that Parks shot on Chicago's South Side won him a fellowship to photograph social conditions in America for the Farm Security Administration, a government agency based in Washington, D.C. During his first days with the Farm Security Administration, or FSA, Parks, stunned by racial segregation in the Capitol, shot his defining photograph of cleaning woman Ella Watson. Mrs. Watson supported her grandchildren and adopted daughter on a salary of just over $1,000 a year. The iconic photograph of her holding a broom and a mop against the backdrop of the American flag would become known as American Gothic. In one iconic photo, Parks conveyed both the African American struggle against racism and the contradiction between segregation and freedom. After the FSA closed in 1943, Parks built a successful career as a photographer for leading magazines such as Life and Vogue. As Life's first Black staff photographer and writer, Parks photographed racism and poverty, as well as leaders and celebrities. Committed to social justice, he not only documented but also served as an advocate for the civil rights movement. In his later years, Parks proved to be a Renaissance man. He stretched artistically by experimenting with color, photography, writing novels, and poetry, composing music, and writing and directing films. In 1963, he published the coming-of-age novel, The Learning Tree. In 1969, when the book became a movie, Parks was the first African American to write and direct a feature film. He also directed the 1971 hit movie Shaft. A humanitarian as well as an artist, Parks was awarded the National Medal of Arts in 1988 and held more than 50 honorary doctorate degrees. He died in 2006. A note from Mrs. Brendlinger. There are people in this world who will knock you down or not support your dreams. It doesn't make them bad people. Some people just need to be shown the truth. When someone says you can't, just by looking at you, prove them you can. Because all of you can. You can do whatever you imagine. Dream and dream big. Even Mrs. Brendlinger once had a high school counselor tell her she should look at another college because the family couldn't afford the one I was looking at. The counselor was right. I nor my family could afford it, but perseverance and good grades got me the scholarships I needed to get there. Now my story is very different from others, but please, dream big and be the change the world needs. Let's show everyone that everyone matters and that Black lives do matter. In memory of my Aunt Helen, who was friends with Gordon Parks in 1940. The author's note. I grew up seeing Gordon Parks photos on the pages of Life magazine. I once met Parks at a Morgan State University exhibition and his experimental color photographs. Years later, I discovered his Farm Security Administration photographs while researching pictures for my poetry collection, Remember the Bridge. It was then that my Aunt Helen told me she had worked with Parks during his stint in Washington, and they had been friends. After Aunt Helen's death, her best friend gave me a photo of my aunt outdoors in Washington in the 1940s. I sensed Parks' hand and vision in that shot, but I will never know if he was behind the lens. Carol Boston Weatherford is the author of several acclaimed poetry collections and poetic biographies, including Moses When Harriet Tubman Led Her People to Freedom, winner of the Caldecott Honor, the Coretta Scott King Award for Illustration, and the NAACP Image Award. She teaches at Fayetteville State University in North Carolina. Visit her at www.cbweatherford.com. A native Floridian, Jamie Christoph, studied illustration at the Ringing College of Art and Design. His illustrations have appeared in a variety of major publications and in several award-winning children's books. He also received multiple recognitions from the Society of Illustrators and Communication Arts. He lives and works out of his Annapolis, Maryland home and loves a sunny day on the Eastern Shore with his two crazy dogs, Spencer and Owen. Now that we're done reading the book, I'm coming back to Schoology and I'm going to click on the silhouettes. And the silhouettes will take me right here. Next, we have a few artworks by the artist on the bookshelf. We learned about letter B, Gordon Parks. This is a picture that he took. This is a picture, it's a photo montage. It means it's a few pictures cut out and put together, like a collage, by Hannah Houck. Letter A. Letter B is Gordon Parks, and letter C is a picture by Dorothea Lange. So, when you look at these, number 1 says pick your favorite artwork. Which one is your favorite? Okay, have it in your head? Now, number 2, we need to answer the essential question. What is this artwork about? If you don't know what that means, it basically means tell me about this artwork. So, what would you say about this artwork? What would you do? Not sure how to type all that out? Well, guess what? That's why I'm here. If you click on the choice sticker right up here, it will take you to this choice board. This choice board says you can type your answer, you can audio record your answer, or you can audio video record your answer. If you don't remember how to record, you can click on the film camera and there will be a video that will play. I am going to go back right here. So that way I can scroll down in Schoology and answer those questions. Good luck!